budget autos. That's what we are discussing today. And as the title says, one sucks, one does not. We are going to look at these. These are very similar in price point, very similar in specs and materials. So these are very good head-to-head, runners. We have here the Schrade SC90B, and then I have the very classic Boker Auto Kalashnikov 74 in a nice clip point design. They have several different designs. We're going to talk about all that today. So I'm really excited for this. Recently my state, the state of Colorado, lifted the out the front auto, ban, so that we are now able to use those as tools, which is fantastic as long as we follow all of our other normal, knife laws. So if you're watching this, always obey your, local knife laws. You don't want to get busted with something that, is rated as a lethal weapon or whatever and go down that road. But really excited for that. So I want to help you guys out. And there's a few other states like Michigan, shout out to you guys, recently repealed that. And then there are several other states that don't even care about those laws and never have. So I'm really excited today that if you are in one of those states that now has lifted that ban, you're like, man, I really want to get an auto. I don't know if I have the money or really am interested in spending maybe like $100 on the launch series that we already reviewed. That was awesome. And we have some more launch series knives coming up soon. But you want to get your foot in the door into an auto. That's why I wanted to do this quick video. Is I wanted to buy two auto knives that were on a budget price and see what they had to offer. Were they worth even buying, just as knives in general, and then their auto feature on top of that. So let's go ahead, dive into it, and see what these have to offer. So want to give a little frame of reference here. I have the Kershaw Launch series. These were the very first two auto knives I ever purchased before. Love them both. $100, USA made, aluminum handles, lightweight, great actions, plunge locks on both, CPM 154 steel. Both fantastic blades. So this is my favorite reference as kind of I know that they're about middle of the line there for auto knives that are out there. I mean, you can spend $400 on an auto or out the front knife. This one I felt were kind of like the good, give me a plumb line to look at when I compare budget and when I compare more expensive knives. Love these. Fantastic blade HQs where I picked these guys up as well. So that's our frame of reference when we look now at these two budget ones. And as I said in the opening, one of these sucks, one of these rocks. And for initially out of the box, it's really hard to tell which one is better than the other. But as we break these down today, I think you're going to see one definitely shines as we go through here. So the first thing I want to hit with you are the blades. Both AUS 8 steel, which is one of the reasons why I picked these both, which is great. I like AUS 8 steel a lot. They're both going to come in at 3¼ inches and about 3-inch actual cutting edges, hollow grinds, and I love all of that. Both of these you can get serrated or plain edge. I'm a plain edge kind of guy. I see way more versatility in a plain edge type of knife. And got to tell you guys that both of these knives performed fantastically well. It was really hard for me to tell the difference in edge retention and in slicing capabilities. Both sliced phenomenally well with everything that we ran up against these, all of your average EDC tasks, everything like that. Very happy, and I noticed the AUS 8, and really this is just proving to me again that when it comes to budget steel, AUS 8 is really kind of my go-to for a budget steel, compared to HCR 13 MOV, 420 high carbon. Those aren't bad for budget, but if I have the opportunity, AUS 8 always seems to hold a better edge for me, and I can tend to sharpen them up pretty well. But very, very happy with these both. I really liked the black coating, held up very well on the Schrade, and I like that reverse tanto. Totally dig that a lot. Sheep's hoof design. Good, strong tip, nice swedging, just a really elegant looking blade that really connected with me. And then on the Boker Kalashnikovs, 74s, so many different options out there. This was a Blade HQ on sale option with that really, large swedge, clip point design. They have drop point that's basically a full flat. To my knowledge, or it's like the mildest hollow grind ever. And then they do have a dagger version, both edges sharpened, I believe, in one version that doesn't have both edges sharpened. So there's lots out there, and they do have serrated versions on these as well. So lots of options on both of these guys for blade shapes. The Boker will have more blade shapes available and color combinations and that type of thing, but serrated, plain edge, and very high performers for the under $40 price point with this AUS 8 steel. Now for the handles. Both of these knives are quite ergonomic. I like them a lot. We'll go ahead and look here at the Schrade. Now originally when I got this, I was like, this has got to be some sort of polymer. From everything that I'm seeing, every single website that I'm looking on, they say that these are aluminum handle scales. If they are, they're a very different type of aluminum. I feel like they're glass reinforced nylon. It feels like glass reinforced nylon, and that's exactly what I thought it was when it came out of the box. Maybe all the the info is wrong. This has got to be glass reinforced nylon. That is my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but man, having held hundreds of knives by now, I think this is a polymer, not aluminum, and I was stunned when I looked it up on Blade HQ and several other sites and it says aluminum. If it is, it's the weirdest form of aluminum that feels like plastic I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, on this one, the Schrade is going to be 0.48 inches thick. It's going to be 4.6 overall length, so lots of real estate to work with here. And this thing is going to come in weighing at 3.4 ounces, so really nice and lightweight for a 3¼ inch blade. I wear large size gloves, as you guys all know. Feels great in the hand. You can see all that real estate out the back, again with that nice glass breaker right there that we'll look at here in just a second with the pocket clips that we'll discuss. Nice angling, no real issues there, no hot spots, anything like that. A little bit of flow through. We got a little bit of hidden jimping, I would say, in there. It doesn't rise above. And then some mild jimping right up here. That's not going to be overly aggressive. It's blocky and doesn't hurt, when you're bearing down on the knife, and gives you a little bit of traction. Great deep finger groove right there. So if you are using this and with harder, tasks, whatever they may be, you're really locked into place. You don't feel like you're going to slip on it, regardless if this is glass reinforced nylon or aluminum. This has just got to be glass reinforced nylon. Sorry, guys. Very weird that they would say this is aluminum. It does not feel or look like it. So that is the handle on the Schrade. Then we have the handle on the Boker, aluminum for sure. I can tell that. It's just got a colder feel to it. Doesn't feel as like I could cut it out, almost. Really interesting. So anyway, nice texturing here, good jimping right there, good jimping right here. Again, not causing any pain. Really nice finger grooves. Normally I'm not a finger groove guy, but having held this and used it extensively, doesn't create any hot spots. Every finger locks in perfectly, really locked into place here, guys, on both the front and the back grips. Really dig that a lot. Giving you very high traction on an aluminum handled knife, which is sweet. Now this is definitely going to be a little thicker at 0.66, so it's a little thicker than most other pocket knives out there, not by much, but I love that it's very contoured. Again, just really did a nice job with that. And this is going to weigh at 3½ ounces, which is really awesome that it would weigh in at that weight. And then this thing is going to be 4¼ inches overall length, so a little bit shorter than the Schrade, and just like 0.1 ounces heavier. But you can see there's still plenty of real estate in my large size hands, giving me great ergonomics, and that cutting out with the pocket clip doesn't bother me at all. And we'll talk about the pocket clips here in just a moment. Feels really good, and again, doesn't create any hot spots. So very nice, very ergonomic aluminum handle scales on the Boker. Now we will go ahead and hit price with you at this point. And again, like I've said a couple times, I believe by now, that I did pick these up over at Blade HQ. Blade HQ is awesome for a lot of knives to purchase through them. And I like the fact that the Schrade was $35. The Boker normal price is $40. I got it on sale for $30. So both $40 to $35, very comparable, and you're getting a lot of knife for that price point, which is awesome. You're getting AUS-8 steel, which again, in my opinion, is better than the 8CRs and the 420 high carbons, and you're getting, obviously the auto push button, you're getting aluminum handles, you're getting deep red pocket clips, you're getting a lot of stuff for that $35 to $40 price point, which is really impressive. So links below over to Blade HQ after this video if either one of these stand out to you and you are on a budget and you're looking for a great auto that will serve you well. I believe at the end of this video you'll see one standing out particularly for that, and you guys can go ahead and hop over to Blade HQ and pick one of these guys up, or the Launch Series if you want to go a little more premium. We have reviews on these guys. Awesome USA made $100 autos. Pocket clips. Now what we're looking at are both very nice deep ride pocket clips, tip up only, which I totally dig. Now on the Boker, you've got this really long pocket clip, really extends, and they matched it with the grooves and the cut-ins, so it actually feels very ergonomic for how long it is, which is nice. And then they have that little access right there, recess, to unscrew it, pull it out, and then swap it over to the other side. So this is totally ambidextrous, and then you have that nice lanyard hole right there. On the flip side, to my knowledge and everything that I'm seeing, and even on Blade HQ, it says right-hand user. This is a right hand only, because I see that this glass breaker nut is what's holding it on. If I were to take this off and try and swap it, the pocket clip would now on the left side be blocking the lanyard hole and probably wouldn't sit quite right. So I would say that this is a righty only, so that is a downside. It is a little bit flimsier and tends to wobble a little bit more. This one is, because it's so long, it is got some flex to it, but there's not as much side-to-side play as I see on the Schrade. Not you know, bad, it's just noticeable in comparison to the Boker. So I'd say overall, more options on the Boker, and just a little bit of a stronger feel in the pocket. Okay, as I said earlier, one of these sucks, one of these doesn't. And now for the moment of truth. What is the deal? So we're going to look at the locking mechanism, and it all has to do with the assisted opening and the locking mechanism. Here on the Boker, we do not have a safety, which means that they kind of recess the button into the handle ever so slightly. It doesn't protrude as much as on the Schrade or on my Launch series. You can see they're just protruding above the handle scale ever so slightly. These don't have safeties either, but you can just kind of see that. These all are a little easier to hit than this one. It's not that it's difficult, but you know, with big thick gloves on, or if you just have really beefy fingers, you really got to kind of think about it to get it to go. For me, it's not a big deal. I would have liked to have it like a millimeter higher. That's just my opinion. But when you push that button, bam, that auto launches it out super strong every time, which I really like. Really good snap, almost jerks my hand, and is just as good as these $100 Kershaws. And that's what I really wanted to show you there, and that's part of the reason why I had these on here. I mean, these Launch series are just as quick and just as strong as this Boker that comes in at more than half the price, or less than half the price, which is awesome. So really nice to see that. Very easy to disengage as well, but again, just making it like a little bit of recess. If it had just been like a millimeter higher, I would have been super happy. The locking mechanism is that plunge lock mechanism. Hopefully I'm showing this to you guys. So it just disengages, you move it out of the way, and then you're able to close it back up, and then it's in place. Very strong, zero play up and down. There's a very slight wobble side to side. Just ever so slight side to side, zero up and down though. And I've noticed that with another one that I played with years ago. Same thing happened with that little wobble side to side, none up and down. I think that's just the movement that they needed. And again, you're paying $40 for this thing, not you know, $100. There's no wobble on these Kershaws, and there's no wobble on the Schrade as well. There is very solid up and down, and not any, I can't tell any movement. Maybe just a hair less than the Boker though, and that's where we're transitioning now into the Schrade. And this one I'm having a major issue with. Now the first thing, which is not an issue, this one does come with a safety. It's just a little polymer piece that basically blocks the button so you can't push it. Then you open it up, red is dead. It's not easily bumped. You know, if you leave it open, you're good to go. The button is a little higher. I liked the button out of the gate when it was like that. I was like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. It's a little easier for me to engage than on the Boker. And you hit it open, boom, whips open just as fast as the Boker, just as fast as my launches. I'm like, wow, when I got this and began to use it, playing with it, fiddling with it, I'm like, man, Schrade's really got their crap together for a $35 knife. I mean, I'm really impressed with this thing. Really good, really no issues. You know, good ergonomics, good AUS 8, like the blade shape, deep ride pocket clip, you know, maybe a little wobbly, but for $35, what do you expect? You know, I was really, really digging it a lot. No issues. That plunge lock, you know, was working really well right there. No problems. Then we went out and did the field testing in the backyard. And guys, that's why I test these things out. I don't just do tabletops for you without running in footage of us testing it. I don't just do a box opening and give you my initial impressions. I've got to get out there and use these things. Otherwise, I may not have picked up on this. What ends up happening with this Schrade is under lots of pressure. So when you're pushing down and you're bearing down, I was bearing down through like those rubber cuts that I was doing. What ended up happening, you can see it now, this plunge lock is way higher and is moved even further, and I really got to put some effort on it to disengage it. And what was happening, and the only way that I can really get it to work is if I do this, so bear with me here. If I jerk it really hard, okay, there you go. You can see this plunge lock now is almost coming out of the handle and is moved over significantly than what it should be. And that's because there's just this very minute up and down play. And when you're bearing down on it, it gives just enough for this button spring to push out further. And now I'm pushing with all my might with my thumb and I cannot disengage it. I have to go two-handed and then I can depress it and close it into place. Now, with normal opening and closing, you would never pick up on that. With cutting through some cardboard, never pick up on that. It was when I went through the rubber that I first noticed that, and I saw that. I was like, after I cut through it a couple times and really bared down on the knife, putting a lot of pressure on this joint right here, that I saw the thing popping out, the button, and it was almost impossible for me to close. I was like, that's not good. What's going on? And then as I began to play with it more and began to do this little test thing, getting it to stick out that far again is ridiculous, and I cannot push it. I got to do it two-handed. That's terrible. That is really bad. I do not have that same problem with the Boker when I was bearing down on it, and when I did that same test, nothing. No problems. Doesn't want to come out any further. No issues whatsoever. So, fail. The one that sucks is the Schrade. It could have been awesome. If that wasn't an issue, this would have been just as fantastic. I would have said buy both of them. I mean, they're both fantastic knives in every other way. Maybe that was a fluke. You know, I'm not going to waste time on a $35 knife to go try and, mess with that. You can take a risk if you want to and, see if this Schrade will, if it was just a fluke or something. But with that happening, that's just really, really bad. And that one wasn't even a bad one. I mean, most of them that I get, there we go. There's another one. I gotta do two hands to depress it, and that's really bad. So there's just a little too much give in the button system and in the plunge lock system there to allow too much tolerance, and then it comes out too far and it just jams up the locking mechanism, which is not good. So for me, guys, easy. The Boker is the better of the two. The Schrade is not. Well, the Boker is still king. I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular video. Hope you guys are enjoying this backdrop so we can crank out more videos for you when the elements or time constraints just don't allow. Doing some testing here. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on the background too, pros, cons, different things like that. But always, thank you for coming over here, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Any questions you have, I'll answer in the comments below. Check us out on all the relevant social media as well. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. Hit the likes and the subscribe button, as well as the most recent video post up that's going up right now as I'm sticking my thumbs up. Click on those to see what else is coming. We're posting up videos every single week. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.